So when you look at number at the documents and the information that's knowledge that and the knowledge that's kept, there is some rules that should be kind of should combine or like adjust these records. So the public entity should make sure that its records should be reliable, usable, and it can be kind of transferred between parties. It can be stored, and it can be retrieved, and it can be of value. So it's not just only the means of the storage or the creating of this data or retrieval of it. It's the value of it should be kind of taken care of as well. So that's kind of these records as well should be part of the contract administration manual, because if for the process to be accepted and used and part of the project has to be part of the contract administration manual. So that's kind of compliance with rules and regulations can make things easy to deal with during the project. When we take a look to one of the items, which is the accurate and adequate records. So now when we are in the project, the records that need to be kept, they should be adequate and accurate, and the issue that some of these documents are in possession of the private party, others are in possession of the public party. So that kind of rules should be kept under control this way, so to make sure that records are accurate and adequate. Like examples of these accurate and records, the records that are used in the monitoring of the performance, because that's very important in running the project. Make sure that it's done according to contract and specs. So like contract negotiations records. So these negotiations, it may have stuff dropped or added, or any change that should be kept accurately. What the performance measures are agreed upon need to be kept, and because this is will guide us during the projects. What the performance and management reports during the project, what are they, and what happened. So that all these reports needs to be kept, because it can be a reference what decisions were taken and what was the overall performance of the project. If there is any compliance reports or compliance issues or dispute between any party, that can need to be kept, and any resolution for such disputes need to be kept as well, accurate, and in a way that if there is an audit one day, all this stuff can be brought up and used in appropriate way. So these kind of that's will get us to the record keeping obligations. Now, if we leave that to leave these records to the private party to keep it or leave it without making sure that it's mandatory, the private party can kind of care less about it, and just keep what works for them or what's beneficial to them, not for the overall project. So it should be kept in should be mentioned in the contract that this is mandatory for the private party to do. Okay, when you leave it in the contract, that means that you have to be specific what exactly need to be kept, and obligated by the contract for the private party to keep, and this kind of whatever information is decided has to be kept. In that case, a private party should keep store these kind of copies in somewhere, so it could be retrieved easily when there is an audit or there is any agency that that requires it for one reason or the other. So when you do kind of development for that system, some protocols should be kept to make sure that that this system management system is record management system is well done. Stuff like it has to be always like under concise and appropriate language. No any discrimination language or any bad language or any inappropriate ones, as a lot of correspondence in public uh, entities should fall under. And it's kind of as for it has like official documents need to be well prepared and thought of, and in a careful way to make sure that this is our official documents, and it's always kept that way. Documents has to be always especially important one, always in kept in a way that it can be used in court or under FOIA requirements, because under any circumstances a request based on the Freedom of Information Act can come asking for this information. So this information should be kept, or records be kept in a way that it's easy accessible and presented to the public or the entity that needs to see it under court order or FOIA request. If there is any legal document that need to be really well taken care of, kept in a place that easy to get, or like obvious and separate from other documents, because those are documents. If there is any issue and legal department needs to see such documents, they'll be easy accessible, and assure and the owner is ensured like sure that they are there. If there's any potential concerns in the projects need to be kept, because this potential concern maybe eventually it will grow up and becomes an issue that will be taken care of later. So for FOIA Act, Freedom of Information Act, Freedom of Information Act, it has to be thought between the project team and the legal department. So to make sure that what are the documents that to be kept under there, and how to be like how the project staff can follow and obey the FOIA Act if needed. So that's kind of will be should be thoughts of with the legal department from early in the project, so to make sure that there is no surprises, that when you have any requests for documents based on the FOIA.